Basic steps for the installation of tongue and groove flooring. There are many types of flooring available in today's marketplace. It's important to choose both the correct power nailer and the correct cleat size for the type of flooring you're going to install. These examples are 3/4 inch solid. 3/4 inch solid may be a domestic wood species such as oak, maple, ash, birch, hickory, or fir. These solid woods at 3/4 inch thickness can be installed using a 16 gauge power cleat. Both the 445 nailer or a 445 FS stapler would be the correct tool for the job. If your flooring is between 3/8 up to 3/4 inch, the model 50P Flex may be the right tool for the job. The 50P Flex installs both domestic solids like oak and maple, as well as engineered and exotic flooring such as bamboo, Brazilian cherry, or kumara. The 50P Flex uses a slightly thinner 18 gauge power cleat to eliminate splits and cracks during install. The 50P Flex has an adjustable foot so you can install from 3/8 to 3/4 inch flooring without the use of pads or shims. Thinner flooring such as 5/16, 3/8, or 1/2 inch can be installed using either the 20FS stapler or the 50P Flex. Both the 50P Flex and the Model 20FS stapler can install 1/2 inch or 3/8 flooring. The 20FS can install the thinner 5/16 engineered flooring as well as 3/8 and 1/2 inch. The 20FS is a trigger pull stapler with Powernail flex foot. It adjusts to your wood profile and uses a thinner 20 gauge 1 inch stapler. After determining which nailer is right for your flooring, you need to determine the length of power cleat appropriate for your installation. The length of power cleat you use depends on several factors: the thickness of your new flooring, the thickness of your plywood subfloor, and whether you're installing over a basement or crawl with floor joists or on a concrete slab. When installing over floor joists, you want your nails to anchor solidly into the subfloor. When installing over concrete slab, make sure the subfloor is at least 3/4 inch thick. It's important not to nail into the concrete as this can damage the nailer and drive blade. For best results, do not use fasteners over 1.5 inches long. As this depth chart shows, 3/4 inch and 5/8 flooring can be installed with either 2 inch or 1 3/4 power cleats. Here we see that both 5/8 and 1/2 inch flooring can be installed using the 1.5 inch cleat size. And here we see that 1 inch staples would be the best fastener for installing thinner flooring like 3/8 or 5/16. Once you've decided on your power nailer and cleat size, you are now ready to install your flooring. First, examine your base floor to determine which direction your floor support joists are going. In this example, the floor joists are the vertical dotted lines. Therefore, in this example, your flooring will be installed perpendicular to the joist so that each board will be crossing one or more floor joists. But installing on a wood subfloor over a slab, run the flooring in the same direction as the longest wall. When laying out your first run, be certain you leave a minimum of 1/2 inch for wood flooring expansion between the wall and the flooring edge. If your gap is in excess of 1/2 inch, make certain that whatever type of trim you're using will cover the gap. Once you lay out your first run, pre-drill the boards for hand nailing into place. You'll want to alternate with both top nail and tongue nailing for your first 2 rows. Before driving in nails, use a carpenter's line to get the first row as straight as possible. Using your pilot holes, alternate between top nail and tongue nail on the first 2 rows of flooring. Use the nail set tool to countersink the nails below the surface. Using pilot holes for this row as well, nail in a full second row of flooring. With your first 2 rows securely nailed down, you are now ready to rack out the rest of your floor. Here are some guidelines for laying out your flooring. Space the board ends at least 3 times the width of your board. In this example, your spacing for board ends should be at least 7 inches. As you rack out your floor, avoid clustering of the end joints. A pattern of stair steps is also to be avoided. Also try to avoid H-joints in your racking. A good way to start the racking process is by organizing your board strips into stacks of different sizes. Flooring manufacturers bundle short, medium, and long sizes together so you have an even mix throughout your floor. Once your strips are sorted by length, start laying out your strips one row at a time. You can alternate different length boards as you rack to help avoid the clustering, stair steps, or H-joints. Since some pre-finished flooring may have a slightly different color tint from one box to the next, be sure to mix wood from several boxes so the flooring blends well across the entire area. At the end of every row, you will need to trim the last board to the exact size needed. Find a board that will fill the gap. Then line up the final board tongue to tongue with the gap, flip the board over, and mark with pencil where you would like a straight cut. Use a circular saw to cut the board straight across your mark. The board completes the row and is ready for nailing. Before you start nailing, make sure your nailer is adjusted to a sample of your flooring. You should test fire a nail to ensure the nail sets correctly into the nail pocket. Begin your nailing from the left side of the room and always do your nailing from left to right across the floor. Use a rubber mallet to tap boards tightly into place. To nail your flooring, strike the plunger at the top of the nailer. Do not hit any other parts of the nailer with the mallet, as this may cause damage. The nail spacing schedule varies by board type, but you always nail down the ends of each board and space nails between 6, 8, or 10 inches apart. Always read and follow the flooring manufacturer's guide and recommendations. We've now reached the final few rows that are too close to the wall for a power nailer. It's now time to pre-drill pilot holes in the nail pocket of the flooring and nail down with finishing nails. Here we use a power jack to tighten the boards and hold them tightly in place. The final row should also be pre-drilled and top nailed as well. Make sure the final row is tight before top nailing into place. Use a nail set to countersink all top nailed areas. Nail up your baseboard using finishing nails. And install your quarter round trim the same way. Next, countersink nails on the trim and flooring. Use wood putty to fill and level the holes. Using the right power nailer and the correct cleat size ensures a solid and long-lasting floor.